My name is Keith, and from the time I was about 4 years old, I was interested in being a part of the entertainment business. And I've done many things throughout that time, from singing in bands, writing music, hosting television shows, everything involved in the professional wrestling business. And I've written comic books, done a lot of things, and almost all of those things failed in some way or another. But I still kept going. I still wanted to continue to create. And there's just something in me that drives me to create. And I started thinking, well, what is it that drives anyone to create? And that's going to be the point of this podcast. We're going to talk to people from all aspects of the entertainment industry. We're going to find out what made them interested in creating art, and why, when faced with success, when faced with failure, the ups and downs of life and life in the entertainment business, they continue to create. So, and hopefully we'll have some good and interesting conversations along the way that you'll be interested in hearing. So tune in to the Most Excellent Entertainment Podcast. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to the Most Excellent Entertainment Podcast. I'm your host, Keith, and here with me today we have a professional wrestler, former mixed martial artist, actor, musician, Jordan Dye.
all the stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
How's it going, brother?
Let's go, man. It's a pleasure to be here. How's it going?
I'm hanging in there, man.
Yeah, I feel that.
So before we get going, I'm gonna give a little background on how Jordan and I know each other, because if I have a history with the folks who come on as guests, I like to talk about it before we get into the meat of the thing. So I moved to this little town called Connorsville in the middle of nowhere in Indiana, and there was nothing to do. So I decided I was going to start a wrestling promotion. And basically I added all the wrestlers who could possibly be in the area on Facebook just to kind of check them out. And I was a manager at a fast food restaurant at the time. And one of the dudes who I added that was a wrestler living in town ended up working at the freaking restaurant with me. So, and at the time, Jordan was probably the best wrestler on the shittiest shows in the area. But you know, we got together, man. We started traveling around a little bit. And when I did finally start booking shows, I brought him on, and it's been freaking awesome watching him develop over the years, and honestly go from being the best wrestler on the shittiest shows to just one of the best wrestlers in the area, period, man. So that's where we're at, dude.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
Man, you left out man.
Well, I left out a lot, dude.
Dude, what was the one promotion that we went to in Franklin, Indiana, that I had you, because they didn't know what to do with us, and I was like, man,
they didn't know what to do with anybody, dude.
No, they didn't. But
the Christian Pro Wrestling Association, is that what it was?
Yeah, ran by Army Stone Cold or whatever he was.
Yeah. For those of you who are in the area and familiar with Hulk Leeser, Alan Reed, Mighty Mike, Mighty Michael. Yeah, we went down, dude, the first time I went down there, I brought my buddies Tevin and Matt with us, and they were doing security, and they ended up involved in the show because it's just how it was down there. That guy had no idea what he was doing. He had a fucking, geez, man, I'm cursing because I'm talking to you. I'm not even. he had a battle royal. Remember that battle royal where that Gunner cat did a DDT in the middle of the ring? Freaking, as soon as it started, he just grabbed somebody and DDT'd him. Like, good Lord. That was the worst. That was the worst. But yeah, no, I remember you brought your crackhead buddy Mike with you and wrestled him.
Yeah, well, because I tried to train him. Him. You know, I hate to say this was what I mean. I wasn't, but maybe 2 years in the business, so I was still kind of learning. I thought I'll take fault for that, but like, Yeah, I kind of trained him a little bit, and then I figured I could bring him on and have him do some stuff, and
Right.
it was
It was the best match on the show.
yeah,
I'll tell you
that's
that.
cool.
A lot of that was because of me, though. I was getting us a lot of heat. No, I'm just playing, dude.
Yeah, real quick. Can you forward like a baby thing in there? Sorry.
No, you're good. I was just putting myself over.
No, you're good. But yeah, man, sorry to all this. They like something's yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, man. So let's go ahead.
Yeah,
Let's
brother.
go
So
ahead and
so
get
enough
this.
about us. Let's talk about you.
No, you got. I
So
like talking about it, man. We call like so. Listen, real quick for those like I've known Keith Miller for the better part of what
yeah, probably about 5, 6 years.
a little bit longer than that.
No, like
I'd say
7, 8 years, man. It's been a while.
it's been close to
Yeah,
10 years, and like
yeah,
been on like I've worked for you. I've done stuff with you via wrestling or whatever.
yeah,
Your kid sometimes when he's not being shy calls me uncle.
yep,
My kids know you, your kids know me, my wife knows you, people, so like we've all been around each other for a hell of a long
yeah.
time.
Long time, yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say that as far we've known each other for a while. It's just I'm glad you're doing what you're doing that brings joy to your life, and this clearly is bringing joy to your life because you talk it up so much, and
Yeah.
I can tell that in the sound of your voice that you love it. So I'm glad that you're getting to do something you want to do. So
I
and thank
appreciate
you.
it, man.
I love you, man. I love you.
Love you too, brother.
So
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I don't have a ton of friends, man. Um, and I consider you one of my best friends, even though we don't get to see each other that much,
because I moved
Still,
away, man, because I got
yeah, I
out of
know,
here.
dude. Yeah, and I feel you, man. Shit. All right. So let's man. Sorry, Tyler. Dude, there's probably gonna be a lot of shit for you to deal with on this because me and Jordan are fucking bullshitting and
Yeah,
technical difficulties and all that good stuff. But
yeah. No more technical difficulties. If so, I'm gonna shoot my cat. No, I'm kidding.
bro,
Edit that
I'm
out.
gonna be honest, man. It's hard for me to interview you like I interview a normal person because I just want to fucking talk to you.
I mean, kind of what we'll do. Just ask questions, and we'll kind of go on. I
Yeah.
mean, you kind of know the majority of my wrestling career and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't know, and considering that this is really I mean, I've done other podcasts, and I'm not crapping on them. I love
Right.
the guys at Pro Wrestling Edge, was their, RIP. They're no longer around. They're not doing their thing anymore. They were great. Dan Brewer and all those cats are great, great dudes. And even House, I did one
Yeah.
with him, but we talked about that one. I was,
Yeah.
it was
Well, different state of mind.
Because me and you were friends. Like we're friends. Like we know each other very well, inside outside wrestling. So this will be interesting. I can share more with you, and we can just kind of we can just do the more of the um friendly vibe more than just like all Jordan Dye, how did you get into this business? You know what I mean?
Right
Just
on,
typical freaking whatever.
right.
Oh yeah,
So,
man.
dude, I do want to ask you, man, because like we said at the top, you are a wrestler, but you've been involved in a lot of other stuff. Was wrestling always what you wanted to do, or like did you just want to be an entertainer? Like, where did that all come from, man? Where'd that start?
I mean, man, just like any kid, I mean, I wouldn't say any kid, but just like, I was a kid and, obviously, I was watching movies and cartoons. And I was like, oh, this would be cool to do this. And then that can kind of spark somebody's interest to want to be an entertainer or be a part of said, you know, whatever. But sorry, but
No, you're good.
but I don't know, man. Like from the first time I got a chance to sit down and watch a pro wrestling match, which was Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect '91 SummerSlam. And
Good
people,
match.
whenever I say, "Oh, it's the fucking greatest match," and when
Yeah.
people say that, when people hear me say that, they're like, "Oh, that's stereotypical. That's everybody's." Well, okay, maybe so, but in all honesty, that was as far as I can remember, that was the first match I ever actually sat down and watched. So from
Yeah.
there, it just kind of it's been wrestling,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, Right after that, I think it wasn't 91 when I watched the match. I mean, I got it on Coliseum home video. I mean, that's how long ago that was, obviously. You know,
Right, right.
early 90s, when WWF was doing their Coliseum home, when that was their video packaging production, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's I was watching off this, so like I'd asked my mom, or at that point in time Santa Claus, for Christmas, I would like this tape, and I got the greatest. What was it? The greatest WrestleMania matches up until that point.
yeah. Okay.
This was
Or
'94. So,
SummerSlam.
huh?
Or SummerSlam.
No, actually, I can't remember where I watched it. It was on. I think it might have been like a WWF was showing like some kind of
Maybe like
montage.
Prime Time or something like that. Maybe Prime Time Wrestling or something like that.
Well, no, it was SummerSlam. It was that
Yeah,
match. It just
yeah.
wasn't. I didn't watch it when it came out, and I didn't have it on tape. I know that for a fact. But
Okay.
that's what sparked my interest in in like watching wrestling. So
Yeah,
I got a tape that year, right? It had
yeah.
4 or 5 matches, and 2 of the matches on it were Macho Man and Steamboat from WrestleMania 3. Love that match. It's one of my favorite matches. Probably one of everybody's favorite matches.
Right.
And uh, Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania 8 in Indianapolis. And that
Nice.
match, dude, that's one of my favorite matches of all time, man. Like,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
Piper, like, you've never really seen Piper work like that, man. And the fact that he, I mean, it was Piper. So the fact that he
Hmm.
put over, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
was great.
one of the things that not a lot of people know. I'm sorry, man. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I got something about this. Like, one of the things that not a lot of people know, unless they've read Piper's book or like know a lot about him, is he had it put into his contract that he would not lose by pinfall or
Yeah.
submission while he was in the WWF. That match with Bret Hart was the first time he ever took a pin in a WWF ring ever. Every
Yeah.
other match he ever had, he lost by disqualification or count out.
And like you've seen, like, since then, well, I mean, obviously he's retired now, but since then, he, he got that rub, and like
Yeah.
he was like, like after that, like, yeah, he's the champion. He's doing shows or doing matches with Flair and blah blah.
Yep.
So Bret Hart is probably, honestly, to get to that, I'm sure you're going to ask that question, so we'll get to that one if you do ask it. But
Yeah.
that's my favorite pro wrestler of
Yeah.
all time. Anyways, I digress. We're getting way off here. So anyways, man. So yeah, that sparked my interest to be a wrestler. I always liked music, man. Like, I've always been a fan of just any kind of music. I mean, if you look at my Spotify, if I were to show you my list, it would be Tupac, Johnny Cash, Garth Brooks, Taylor Swift, My Chemical Romance. This and that. It varies. So as far as music, we're gonna talk about, right. We're gonna get into wrestling here a little bit, like a lot,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously. But it's music, man. Funny story. Okay. I tried to try out for band when I was in 7th grade, and I just couldn't do it. I tried to play the
Yeah.
flute because I don't. You see my hands. I honestly, what they would call little girl hands. I can't play guitar, and I
Right.
love.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
play guitar so bad, I couldn't do it. So I tried to do band with the flute, couldn't do it. I had a buddy of mine show me how to use a keyboard. So,
Okay.
okay, so I got to play keyboard a little bit. So played a little bit of keyboard. I started making hip hop beats. You
Okay.
know, keyboard, and then you get the little drum, boom. We would do this and do that. And one day I just started just rhyming out of nowhere. It was silly as crap. But I was like, but one of my buddies like, man, you should do that. And I'm like, okay. So I tried it. At first it didn't go very well, and then I started writing lyrics.
Yeah.
And I started writing lyrics for stuff. I got into choir. I started singing. And then eventually I started recording my own music, to the point
Nice.
where I had me and a couple of we weren't even friends. Honestly, me and my hip hop trio that were together, We considered ourselves the white tribe called Quest.
Nice.
I joke, but no,
Uh,
we had mentioned to somebody before, but we'll get to that. Nah, man, it just honestly, I met these dudes one day. A buddy of mine. We talked about the crackhead earlier.
yeah,
The
Mike.
crack.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
yeah.
brother, his younger brother was like, "Hey, man, you want to get high?" I'm like, yeah, let's go. So we go to these guys' house, and man, we're all sitting around smoking, and they start freestyling. I'm like, it's a bunch of white dudes freestyling.
That's
At
very
that point, I hung out with a lot of I try to figure out a way to be politically black dudes. Okay, I'll just say that I don't know how to be politically correct in this sense anymore. I don't want to offend anybody.
right.
But we started hanging out with that's what I'm used to hanging out with. And then now I start hanging out with some of these white dudes. These white dudes are rapping, and I'm like, what the hell? Okay, cool. So we're sitting there, I'm listening to them, and they're doing the thing. And we start freestyling, we start smoking, and next thing you know, we wrote like 5 or 6 songs, man. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? We recorded
Right.
some. We started selling some of our CDs out of cars. We did a couple shows around Connorsville, Richmond, Indiana area, and we didn't get very far with it, man. I mean, come on, 3 white kids from the Boondocks rapping about stuff they probably shouldn't be rapping about is not going to get you very far.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but and you mentioned actor, man. I took a couple drama classes in school. Did a few plays. I was mostly kind of like an ensemble cast. I didn't really
Mm,
do anything big, but it's not that it comes back to wrestling. Wrestling has always been a passion of mine. Ever since I seen that match, and then had to watch other matches. Ever since then, I was like, I think this is what I want to do. I think I
yeah.
want to do some kind of combat sport, especially wrestling because there's just such an art in pro wrestling than any other kind of craft of sport. You pull so much emotion out of people, and I know from you know that when I enter a room, I command it. I
Yeah.
can do that, and
Yep.
I've done that for years. So if I can do that if I can walk into a room and get all these people to just have an emotional, like have just a state of emotion for me, like whether it be happy, sad, pissed off, homicidal, like I want to pull that out of them and pull that into this and to get them to love or to hate me. And really, since my 10-year wrestling career, it's been nothing but hate, which is great. I
Yeah.
would prefer nothing less because I don't know. Well, I don't want to be
I
the
mean,
good guy. We'll
yeah.
talk about it. I don't want to be the good guy to other people. I don't have to be the good guy too. I'm a
Yeah.
better bad guy than I'm a good guy, and you know,
I mean, this is the thing about like outspoken people, if you will. Um, you're one of the best dudes I know, man. You know what I mean? I know that if I came to you with a problem, you would help me. You know what I mean? To the best that you could. But you also talk whatever shit you feel like needs to be talked. And okay, yeah. And those are the people who in wrestling make the best heels, man. They just do, you know? The people who will go out there and say what's on their mind and freaking piss people off. And you are not afraid to do that. So
that's
that
that's that dude. That's what a lot of wrestling, in my opinion, is missing. Man, is the fact that there still should be a baby face and a heel. I mean,
yeah,
you can't have Batman without the Joker or the Penguin or this and that. You can't have Spider Man without Doc Ock or
right.
Green Goblin. Almost forgot his shoot name for a second. Like, but you
Jordan
but you
Osborne.
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
you can't have that without having the other. So why? Why are we moving away from that? Like I
Right.
watch stuff like AEW when I did watch it. I don't watch it anymore, and I can't. I cannot. And there's so many guys on that roster that I Christian for crying
Yeah.
out loud.
Love Christian.
Love
Yeah.
Christian, but I can't watch it because it doesn't. None of the stuff that they're putting on makes any sense.
Yeah.
And there's like they got the heels out there and they're cheering for them, and then they got the babies out there and they're cheering for them.
Hmm.
What's the story? What is the story in
Yeah.
the match? There's two guys just doing these what people consider to be choreographed stuff, and we're trying so hard to expand your disbelief a little bit and to make you believe that this stuff is real. But how are you just supposed to believe that these two guys are like dislike each other when they're
Right.
all buddy buddy, they're shaking up on social media and hugging in pictures on social media, and they're trying to hate each other in front of you. Like you gotta play that part. Kayfabe
Yeah.
should still exist in professional wrestling, even though it doesn't. It should, and it don't. And that's
Yeah.
the problem, in my opinion. If anybody were to ask me what's the problem with pro wrestling, that's what I'm going to tell them, because
Yeah.
it sucks, and it makes people like me or people like Jeremy Hadley around this area. I'm just using guys around this area.
Yeah.
Jeremy Hadley for to to get over in a sense, because you can't with all that, because it's why you got these guys being heels and they're coming out there and they're smiling and they're hi, and they or not even that. Let's scratch it. Let's go to this. Nick Bockwinkel used to say, if a guy walks out to the ring and gets all this crowd emotion and then gets in the ring and there's nothing, how good was the
Hmm.
match? What was the
Right.
story that was being told? This guy comes out of the curtain. These people hate this guy. He gets it in the ring and puts forth none of that hatred to
Right.
them to get the emotion back back from them. That's what's missing from wrestling.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with certain people too, that want to go on and say, okay, well, this guy's the best wrestler of the year. Well, is he really? What? Because he did a 360 Hurricanrana pile driver, like
Right.
that good wrestler? But no, but they were just sitting there with their hands on their asses, just watching it, like, oh. Or half
Yeah.
of them went to the restroom during your match. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not entertaining. Like, yeah, okay, it's fun to watch, but are they going to remember the flip, or are they going to remember the fact that this heel beat this baby face to the point where they have to call the fucking ambulance in to come pick him up? You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
what's going to
Right.
remember. But anyways, I digress. Like I said, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say tonight. So
Yeah, dude. I think one of the big things about indie wrestling, especially on a smaller level, like what I was doing with WFW, let's just say, we didn't have, TV and all that. We had IWTV, but the show days were so hectic, it was hard to even get anything done other than what's going on in the ring. So
yeah,
on independent wrestling, you learn to tell the story in the ring. If you don't tell the story in the ring, you don't get over.
yeah, you
I
don't.
think
It's
I think that's missing a lot on the bigger shows. Like they want to tell all these, they want to do all these vignettes and all this crap, and then when they get out in the ring, the story's already built in, so they don't need to do as much of the physical storytelling, especially like AEW, where they're just doing a bunch of moves. You know?
And it's sad, dude, because like they have so much great talent over there. Swerve Strickland's great, man. I love
Yeah.
Swerve.
Yeah.
Sheldon Benjamin. Oh my God, he just started. I heard he just started out wrestling over there, and I haven't
Yeah.
got a chance to watch him over there. But I've never seen a bad Shelton Benjamin match. I love
Right.
Shelton Benjamin. Like Daniel Bryan, the guys like that, like that they bring them over, and they're just because they
Yeah.
don't do anything with them. They're not. What are they doing? They're not
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
anything. We were just talking about NXT, and I
Yeah.
guess I don't watch it, but like they can say whatever about NXT or say whatever about this. At least NXT is investing in the talent that they see something in.
Yeah.
AEW has so much talent that they can see something in, but they're not doing anything with, because they're doing a bunch of stupid stuff with. They're not telling any stories.
Yeah.
There's That's the whole part. They say it's an entertainment business. Yes, there's entertainment in the entertainment with the moves, but if you're not telling a story with those moves, it doesn't make sense. You're just
Right.
doing a bunch of gymnastics.
Right. I mean, dude, I'm gonna be honest, like, and I'm not the only person who thinks this. I do a wrestling podcast on Fridays. It goes out live on Kish Radio, and then on top of that, it's on Spotify and all that good stuff. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of people now, like NXT is probably the best wrestling on television right now. Like, honestly. Um, because they keep the backstage stuff simple. They use it to move stuff forward, and they really do tell the stories in the ring. And
Yeah.
and I mean, one of the problems with NXT, the same problem with the NWA. There's not a lot of clear baby faces and heels, like you were saying. That is irritating. Like,
There needs to be, man. That's
yeah,
they're missing the whole premise of pro wrestling, and if we, and this is just my opinion, and I'm probably wrong. I have been before, but I feel like wrestling, maybe not so much WWE, because let's face it, like they're everywhere. I don't think they're
yeah,
going anywhere.
yeah.
But beside them, like your AEW and all these other start promotions, like pro wrestling is gonna die. It's gonna start dying
I mean, it could, man.
if we don't pick it up. That's why
Yeah,
MMA is and they better keep with it, man. Like when they had McGregor on, and McGregor was talking all that smack to fucking amp up those fights. That's
yeah,
what we need. We have so many scripted promos now. There's no real characters anymore. They're all made up. Like, come on, like you think Ric Flair had his promos scripted, Roddy Piper had his promos scripted, Arn Anderson,
right.
all these, The Rock, Stone Cold had all these, they were just kind of, hey, say this, and then they went on and did their own thing. Nowadays you could clearly watch somebody on TV cut a promo, and you could tell that the majority of it is coming from a piece of paper, not from
Yeah,
here or
dude.
here, really.
Did you hear about I mean, this is going to be a couple weeks old by the time we get it out there. But did you hear about what Jada Parker did on Tuesday?
I don't
Live
believe so.
live network television, dude. She came out on NXT. She called the referee the N-word. She said shit. She said shit, and then she said bitch and ass, which bitch and ass is borderline. But
Don't they say that on? Don't they say that all the time on AEW now?
yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I don't really watch AEW, dude. But she went to the referee and she said, N-word, you hear me? And then she got in the ring and said, I'm tired of this shit. Get your bitch ass out here. On freaking the CW, dude. Like,
I mean, WWE's going to Netflix, and apparently they're doing that
yeah.
TV 14 thing. So maybe they're trying to test the waters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. I think she got nervous out there and freaking because man, that's FCC fines. You can't say that on network television. That's money out of their pocket. You know what I mean?
Probably gonna be off TV for a month.
And she's a kid, dude. She hasn't been around very long, and I don't think she comes from a wrestling background. I think she got out there and got nervous. That's what I think happened. And
Yeah.
that little girl might need a script, dude, because she, holy crap.
Well, it's like the time I was cutting a promo on I won't mention it.
Yeah.
I don't want whatever on them, but I'm cutting a pray. It wasn't long ago. I'm cutting a promo, and I call the two guys, which they came out to save the day because they're a bunch of jackasses. They
Right.
want to ruin my fun. But they came out, and I'm sitting there cutting a promo, and I stop and I call them a bunch of butt pussies. And
Oh, Lord.
and they still, like, you'll still hear them at the show. I work the show every show they have, and it's just like,
Yeah.
hear them sometimes say, "Hey, butt pussy." So
That's funny, dude.
I get it, but anyways, yeah, man. So I think we've kind. You're right. Like it's just not just. This is just. We're just BSing.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I knew that's what was gonna happen, man. But maybe some people will think it's interesting and want to check it out. Dude, I'm
Yeah,
saying the interview that I put up this week, I was talking to John Easdale from Dramarama. They're my favorite band, dude. And I spent the whole hour and a half that we did just telling him how much I loved him and how freaking much music meant to me. Like that was the whole thing, dude. It was just me kissing this dude's ass. A grown man, a 50-year-old man talking to a 60-year-old man about how freaking amazing he is. Dude. So it's like, but
you got you got to stop flirting with other guys. You're gonna make Uncle
I
Q
can't
jealous.
I can't help it, dude. I can't help it. It's funny because Casey's not here, man. But when I told him that you were coming on my podcast, he got all super excited. But then I'll bet if he saw you, he would just sit there. He wouldn't say shit.
He's a cute kid, man.
Yeah. But,
So I need. Hold up, dude.
no, go ahead.
I'm trying to put. My batteries are saying that they're low on my.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you'll be all right, dude. If anything, I'll
All
figure it out. I ain't worried about
Okay.
it.
No, I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about like what got me into wrestling when I was a kid was I was a comic book fan. And wrestling was like superheroes and villains on TV, in real life.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, not having that conflict, not having good and evil, not having, clear good guys and bad guys, I think that hurts wrestling nowadays. I think it's harder to, and people are like, oh, well, I remember there's a wrestler that I was complaining about that. And
Yeah.
it's somebody that I know you don't think very highly of, but but he said it's more realistic now when there's not good guys and bad guys. It's just people fighting. It's a competition.
Who said that?
I'm not going to say it on the podcast, dude, but I'll tell you later.
Okay. Well, whoever said that, no, I'm not gonna. You said I don't
Especially
like him?
since I just said that it's somebody that I know you don't think very highly of. I'm not going to. What? Yeah.
So yeah, that person, whoever you're talking about, all I got to say is you're wrong. And if
Yeah.
you're listening, you're wrong. And when I find out who you are, I'm gonna look at you in the face and tell you you are wrong.
I'll tell you what, dude. If you think about clotheslines, you'll know who I'm talking about. Okay, you know who I'm talking about. Yep, I got you, brother.
Listen, it'll turn into the Cat Williams interview if you start. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
I don't have any cognac in front of me, so we're good.
Right on. Right on. So once I did want to talk about this for a second too, just because it reminded me of it. But I remember a few years back you were talking about wanting to play bluegrass, and that's how I found out that you made music.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you want to make a freaking bluegrass band, dude? What are you talking about?
So originally, okay, here's the story. So originally, I wanted to. My wife and I are really big fans of The Office.
Mhm.
Okay, there is a scene. It is season 3, episode. It's either 7 or 17. I know there's a damn 7 in it.
All right.
Anyways, there's a character named Andy Bernard that he tries so hard through the whole episode to try to get the receptionist Pam to go on a date with him or whatever. Okay. So they're feeding him all this stuff. Well, he eventually gets fed to believe that she likes the banjo, right? So he plays Rainbow Connection on the banjo and sings. He tries to serenade her.
Right.
So I told myself, since we were such super fans, especially at the time before we got married, like if I learn how to play the banjo, I can do this at our wedding. And it never happened, obviously, because I didn't have to learn how to play it. But that's kind of where it came from, because really, I think the banjo is more like relatable to bluegrass and stuff. So
yeah,
I like I said, I'm a fan of all kinds of music, man. Like bluegrass, country, rock, metalcore, emo core,
Yeah.
heavy, whatever. There's so many hip hop, rap, R&B, stuff like that, man. Like I don't like today's
Yeah.
country. I'm a big fan of anything. I would say mid '90s and before.
Yeah.
Like I like Dwight Yoakam.
Dwight Yoakam's amazing, dude.
Dwight Yoakam's great. I
Guitars
like
and
Dwight Yoakam.
Cadillacs, that's one of the best songs ever written.
Yeah, it's good. It's good shit, dude. It's like
Yeah.
and like stuff like that, man. So like I'll go back and listen. Like and so like my grandma was real big into all that. My grandma was real big into Elvis, and so was my mom. So I'm
Sure.
a huge
Yeah.
Elvis.
Me too.
And obviously we go on about the acting.
Right.
Greatest actor of all time, right here, baby.
Nick Cage, baby.
So, like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
man. Like, I'm a fan of many arts. I'm just a fan
Yeah.
of art.
Did you ever get the Nick Cage pillow?
Hold up. Let me see if it's sitting over here on this.
You did. I thought you did. I thought that's where I saw it, dude. That's funny. Oh, that's amazing. I was pretty sure you showed me that, dude. Oh, that's so nuts.
Yeah, bro.
Freaking Nick Cage pillow, man. Oh, so you can rest your head on Nick Cage's face.
Oh, dude, anytime, anytime I want to conversate with Castor Troy, it's right here, baby.
That's great, dude.
Not
Oh,
the
man.
bees, not the bees. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my wife and I are huge Nick Cage marks, man. I think we own
Yeah.
every one of them. Like
That's
no
funny.
BS. Yeah, it's
That's
good,
funny.
good.
I remember when I watched The Wicker Man, dude, and he's just like running that whole movie and yelling at people. Like that's the whole. It's just him running and freaking yelling at people the whole movie.
I don't
Like,
know. Like he's a method actor. I don't know what his methods were in that movie. Like
to
the
run and yell at people.
The original, I'm about to call it Method Man. Did you imagine Nick Cage starring?
Yeah.
Nick Cage plays Method Man.
Method Man. Oh, that'd be great, dude. Oh man.
But yeah,
So-
man, that's funny. It's funny shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Ah! Yeah. Oh, dude. That's awesome. They put the freaking bee mask on him, and he's just
Not the bees, not the bees.
good.
Like yeah, everything. He's yelling at a group of people with his gun out at one point. He's
Yeah, the whole time he's just running around with his gun and freaking pointing at people and screaming. Yeah.
Where's my kid? Not the
So-
bees.
So good, dude. I remember when I watched that movie, I thought it was so good. And then, like, I went online and people were just like, this is the worst movie ever made. Like, everyone was ripping it apart. I thought it was freaking awesome. But
Oh man, it's something, dude. It is
Yeah.
something.
I think the stuff that Nick Cage has done recently, though, has been really good. Like, the Janitor movie. The one in the with the it's like Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's freaking
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
And the because that's his name in the credits. His name in the credits is the janitor. That's his
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And the one where he played himself, obviously, that was freaking
Oh.
brilliant.
That's amazing. So the one he plays one called Pig. Have you ever seen it?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen that yet.
So it's basically like John Wick, but over a pig.
Nice. Instead of a dog.
Yeah. You took my pig.
Oh, man.
He throws a bucket of bees on people. No, I'm just kidding. You threw bees on me. Here's your bees. No, I'm kidding.
It all comes from Lobo, dude. All comes from Lobo. All
Lobo.
that Lobo, yeah, dude. Because Lobo, the only thing that Lobo loves is dolphins. If you hurt a dolphin, Lobo will fuck you up.
Are you talking about the comic book
Lobo
character?
from the comics, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only thing he loves is dolphins, dude. If you mess with a dolphin, Lobo's coming to get you.
I'm staying away from dolphins, man.
Yeah, don't, dude. Lobo's crazy.
Yeah, dude, those things. Well, who's going to protect us from the dolphins, though, man? Dolphins.
Yeah,
They're
dolphins
nuts,
are an
man.
alien race, dude. They're invaders.
Yeah, dude, they
They're
are
here to
really.
study us.
Sons of bitches.
Man.
That's why so much.
That's why what?
That's why he likes them so much. They're aliens like him. He's
Well,
an
yeah, in the
alien.
comic books, they actually are aliens, dude. And he takes them out into space with him, and they fly around with him on his bike and stuff.
Do you remember that
Yeah.
game from? I think it was a Sega game called Echo the Dolphin. You ever
No,
play that?
no, man.
And then you'd like echo it, and like you would echo and shit, and you would kill like the demonic fish or whatever it was,
Right.
or like the fisherman.
That's crazy, dude. No, when I had a Sega, I played NBA 95, NBA Live 95, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Oh yeah,
the Spider-Man one that had the X-Men in it. It was mostly the X-Men, honestly, but it was Spider-Man
Yeah.
video game.
I had
Um,
Maximum Carnage for Sega with
Oh, heck yeah. I remember the
Yeah,
ads for that, dude, with the big Carnage. And I had, Mega Man, dude. I love Mega Man. Mega Man was
dude,
fun.
yeah. Who didn't like Mega Man? Jesus.
Yeah, Mega Man was
Ooh,
dope.
great.
Well, I know who really likes Mega Man. Your favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega. Loves Mega Man.
You had to go there.
Hey.
You
Dude,
had
you
to
know what's
you had to bring up Marco McFingerbang.
Hey now. Beating up little girls and freaking blow up dolls and stuff. It's awesome.
Fucking idiot, curly headed idiot.
Did so how long has it been since you watched AEW? Has it been a while?
So I listen to Jim Cornette religiously, so I keep up on kind of what's going on. I just don't watch it.
Right, I got you.
I listen to Cornette, but no, I haven't watched it in a while.
Because MJF and Osprey had a really, really good match that went 59 minutes and 58 seconds or something like that. They opened their show with that.
Yeah,
And then the next segment was Mariah May rolling around in the ring in lingerie, like literally rolling around in the ring. And then I want to say Nyla Jax and Mercedes Moné. And then the main event was Swerve Strickland and was it Okada? Who's the
I remember.
who's the Japanese dude that runs with the Young Bucks?
Yeah, Okada.
Yeah. Okay. So it was Okada and Swerve Strickland having a kung fu match. Like literally, like it looked like they were dancing. It was the most ridiculous crap. So that's indicative to me of the whole problem with AEW. They put on like MJF and Osprey. That match had emotion and looked real. It looked like they were really trying to kill each other, and it went a freaking hour. Why would you put that on first and then follow it with all this silly crap and then have the last match be, like I said, a kung fu match? It didn't make sense.
Because
Dumb.
MJF is probably one of the greatest workers of our time.
Yeah,
One of,
fair.
not the best, but
Yeah.
he is one of the greatest workers of our time.
Yeah.
And so I think that, and Osprey's good. I know I talked whatever about flippy stuff, but
Yeah, but there's a difference between guys like Osprey and Ricochet and guys like Ruckus. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
dude,
Sorry,
Ruckus,
Ruckus. Sorry, Ruckus. Just saying.
don't you get on Ruckus now from CZW Ruckus?
Ruckus. Dude,
What?
Ruckus can't tell a story to save his ass.
Oh, but dude, he had some innovative looking stuff, dude.
Yeah, he did. Those sit-out arm drags and stuff. I remember when Q was training, he said he wanted to do a sit-out arm drag. And I was like, dude, you can't do a sit-out arm drag. You'll land on top of the person's freaking head. I was like, there's no way you can do it. And he was like, man, you can do a sit-out arm drag, I'm telling you. And then I got this videotape of this backyard company called HCW, the Hardcore Championship Wrestling. And Ruckus was on it doing backyard wrestling, and he did a freaking sit-out arm drag. And Q was like, see, they're doing it in this backyard wrestling. I told you could do it. I was like, right on, dude. I guess you were right.
You remember you remember Delirious from Ring
Oh,
of
yeah, of
Honor?
course, yeah.
So he would hit the he would grab the dude's arms in between their legs from behind. He would flip him up and drive him down.
Yeah.
So Ruckus would fucking. I seen him hook a dude,
Yeah.
and flip him like that and spit him out and catch him in a fucking cutter. And I'm like,
Oh yeah, dude. I've seen him do that too. Yeah, he does a bunch of cool stuff, man. But he doesn't. His matches don't make no damn sense.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry. And honestly, his flying stuff,
like that.
like his drop kicks and any of the stuff that he's doing off the top rope, he misses, dude. He does not land that stuff very clean ever. I'm just saying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ruckus. I'm sorry.
Ruckus is good at what he does, and what he
Yeah.
does is creative moves, but can't tell a story to save his life.
Yep.
He's not a Stephen King of the
Yeah, he's definitely not the Stephen King of the mat for sure, dude. We should send this to Ruckus.
Not he probably challenged me to a duel, and I have to go fight him.
Dude, you'd get there and he'd have a bunch of weed rolled up, and you guys would just
probably, hey man, so you want to take that movie you talked about on that podcast? No.
Everything's gonna be all right.
Flip me like that, but you'll flip me, and I'm gonna break my neck on the way over. All right.
Yeah, brother. So man, we've been talking for freaking almost an hour. And
yeah. Let's get these questions in, man.
Yeah, let's do a few things. All right. So once you decided that you were going to be a wrestler, that was going to be the direction you were going to go in, what steps did you take to actually make that happen?
Well, I know I told you I didn't want to talk much about my MMA stuff, but we'll go ahead and get into a very, very brief snippet.
I mean, you should talk about Rich Franklin kicking your ass. You should talk about that.
Nah, we'll save it for no time.
Oh man, it's Rich Franklin.
He probably don't remember. I sparred with him a little bit. He beat the living piss out of me, and I was like, "Holy hell, what am I doing here? I need some more training." And he told me, he's like, "You're gonna. How do you phrase it? Basically, you need to go get you some sleep and sleep on it or something, and come back and let me know if you want to do it again." I can't remember. Something like that, but yeah. Rich Franklin sparred with me and kicked my ass. So, funny story.
I bet he's crazy strong, right? He looks like he'd feel like moving a fucking house if you were trying to.
Oh, he's in his 50s now, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about back then, dude. You know.
Then that was what? Oh, fuck. When was that?
I mean, it was before we met each other, so it was
way before we met each other. 05.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, so you were messing with pretty tough Rich Franklin in 05.
Yeah. But anyways, man, so I was doing a little bit of fighting. I was living in Cincinnati, Ohio at the time with my ex-wife, and was working at a Jersey Mike's. And Jimmy Yang comes in. Now, he came in a lot at this Jersey Mike's. I mean, I had to free sandwiches or whatever. And we would just shoot some crap about wrestling. I told him how big of a fan I was of it. And he said, well, I got a training facility right up the road. If you're interested, give me the address. Cool. Talk to my ex-wife. She's been already trying to get me to get out of MMA because I received a concussion a fight before the fight I had last. Before we had this conversation, that was pretty bad. I lost a little bit of my memory for a little bit. It came back obviously, but I mean it messed me up pretty bad. Anyways, so we was talking about it, and she's like, "Well, is wrestling safer?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Maybe not." Basically,
not if you're wrestling Gunther.
Oh yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah, my bad.
No, you're good. So we basically had discussed that I'm not going to do either. So she kind of shut my dreams down. Anyways, fast forward about I don't know, 5 years maybe.
Okay.
I was playing on Facebook and I seen I'm not going to mention their names because I'm not going to give them a shout out.
Right.
But I was scrolling through and I seen this wrestling promotion running around Indiana, around Connersville, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go talk to some people. So I went and I just talking to some people. I met a guy named Robert Stedham. I will mention his name. I will give credit where
Yeah.
credit's due. Um, Talked to him, and we kind of hit it off about wrestling. He's like, man, he's like, if you're interested in doing this, gave me the fee, gave me this, gave me that. He's like, we'll take you on the road with us. We will train you before every show. We got a facility in Ohio that we can train out of Tuesday. Every Tuesday, Saturdays, and Sundays, they run shows. So if you get there about 4 hours early, you can run a couple hours training, which is what I did. That's how dedicated I was. So at that point in time, I was way done with mixed martial arts or competing, anyways. And I was like, okay, bet I'm gonna go and train with these guys. And basically, what it was, man, and it was gruel, dude. Steve Collins and Robert Stedham are the two guys that trained me. Um, and yeah, man, I took a lot of beating. Uh, I did a lot of I did a lot of training, man. It was hard on me. And that's the thing too, like I hear guys coming out of training or wrestling camps now. Oh, I spent 4 months right here. Motherfucker, I spent a year in like 2 months. I spent 14 months training every single weekend and every Tuesday, 3 days a week, killing myself. And not just for an hour or 2 hours, dude. Like I'm telling you, like Tuesdays, my first training session, it was like an 8 hour shift. I was there for like almost 8 hours. I went about noon and didn't come home till, I mean, it was well past 10 o'clock before I got home. And this was over in Ohio, man. So I was in Connersville at the time. So it was like a 2 hour drive from where I
Right.
was. That's 4 hours every Tuesday, 4 hours every Saturday, 4 hours every Sunday, just driving and then wrestling, bumping on concrete. I wasn't even allowed in the ring until I bumped on concrete. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
Like I had to learn how to set up. I had to learn how to set up wrestling rings and tear them down. That consisted of my first Tuesday. I think I set up and tore down a wrestling ring twice, almost,
Jesus.
almost twice, almost because I didn't know wrestling ring then. So, but like
Yeah.
other than that, dude, like it was that, and then like officially, I was allowed to get in the ring, and then we would do stuff. When I wasn't allowed to get in the ring and do things, Steve Collins would pull me over to the side, and he would just lock up with me, and and we would chain for, I mean, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, just going back and forth, and eventually. We would lock up and we would chain and we would have conversations and didn't even realize we're just going into motions and you
Right.
know and doing all this and as we're having conversations and then the next thing it's just it comes more fluent as soon as I lock up, boom, there it is, and it's just like from there. So like that's kind of how I got into it. I wasn't forced into it. I'm not a second generation guy or a third generation guy. I've always just loved pro wrestling. I love the art of pro wrestling. I used to love everything about pro wrestling, and I still do. It's just now I'm kind of seeing that, I'm kind of seeing like how it's changed and not for the better, like we talked
Right.
about a little bit ago. But yeah, man, that's basically how I got into wrestling, man. Just that's just kind of like a fly summary, like a quick
Yeah.
summary of how it happened.
I think that one of the things that you do well, and I th- is fluid chain wrestling that looks like actual wrestling. And you get guys in there, who are trying to do chain wrestling, and it looks like they're just, I don't know, dance like square dancing. You know what I mean? Like I go over here, you go over there, we go over here, you come around. When you're doing it, it looks like you're actually thinking about going from move to move. And
Like chess.
yeah, and I think that's important, man. I think that's I think that's something that like I know with Tice, I know you worked with our buddy Tice, and I know that you helped him out a lot with his positioning and how he moves in the ring.
Yeah, I just wish I could get the kid to change the gimmick up a little bit. But hey, but listen. I've always, so when I first got started, I came from Ohio before I came to
Right.
Indiana. Indiana and Ohio is like night and day. You know, a lot
Yeah.
of people may not tell you that, but a lot of people may have not experienced the same things that I've
Well,
experienced.
definitely as far as wrestling, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to think like there were guys, a lot of the Indiana style is more of a hybrid style.
Right.
That what I've seen. You got guys like Braden Lee, Cole Radrick, Sean Kemp, guys, Josh Crane, Sage Phillips, Eric
Mhm.
Dillinger. I'm trying to throw out some names here.
Yeah.
Trip Cassidy, Ace Perry. The list goes on. Dale Patrick.
Yeah.
Shit, I can go all day. Okay.
Yeah.
Apollo. All those. I mean, what that should have been the first person I threw out.
Hey, Cassius.
Cassius. TJ Kemp, Hillbilly Jed, all these. And if I'm missing out any names, my apologies. I'm not, I'm just saying there's different hybrid styles, and those guys like do different things. It's not just, oh, that guy's known for his technical wrestling.
Right.
That guy's not just known for his brawling, or it's a hybrid style. They do all one. If you like, and Ohio is more of, if from what I've learned, is more of, you either got high flyers like Trey Miguel or Zachary Wentz, or now it's Wesley. It used to be Desmond Xavier.
Yeah.
Xavier.
Right.
Yeah. Guys like that, like the more the Northern Ohio guys, are more of the high flyers and more of the whatever. And then you got guys like from like Central Ohio, maybe, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like Aaron Atlas. They're not Aaron Atlas. My fault. Love you, Aaron,
Mhm.
but I'm at you right now. Aaron Williams, cats like that. Jack Vaughn, Cody Hawk, Jesus,
Yeah.
guys like that from the Ohio area, that are more of the technical style. So it's everywhere, man. So like being like going from a locker room in Ohio for 2.5 years to jump into Indiana and do strictly Indiana shows for how long I've been doing them.
Right.
It's a different crowd. It's a different scenario. It's a different kind of people. It's a different kind of wrestling style. So the fact that I came over from Ohio and learned that craft over there, and then brought some what I learned over there over here to Indiana, and showed some of the guys, not all guys, I'm not the guys that I mentioned, but the guys like Tice you did mention. I got guys
Yeah.
like that now asking me, I want to learn your craft, because there's a lot of guys that don't do the style that I do, or
Right.
that try to do the style that I do, but can't do it quite as well as me because they're not as original. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So yeah. So I like guys like that. I try to help out, and I got a couple other guys that I've helped out under my belt that's gotten, that I think that's gotten better. That just needed a little guidance. I wouldn't necessarily
Right.
say I'm a trainer. I'm just kind of like a sculptor. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, man, from the time that you started working with Tice to when I first saw him, he's gotten so much better. And obviously a lot of that credit is to him too, for getting out and getting on better shows and working with better people. But
Yeah.
but you know,
You got to work with better people. If you don't work with better people, you don't work with somebody that's better than you, then how are you supposed to be better? How are you
yeah,
going to tell yourself that you're the best person, that you're the best version of you, and not work somebody
right.
better than you, or wrestle somebody better than you to get better? It's not going to
Yeah, for
happen.
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll never happen. You're not. You got to work in front of different crowds and different people. You got to work in front of different, with different guys or women, whoever, to get better. If you're not willing to do that, if you're just going to stay in that shell and that one spot, you're never going to get better. You're
Yeah.
never going to do. You're never going to make anything out of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
business. You have to go. You know what I'm saying? You have to go around. So.
Yeah. I remember our first show, and I booked you with Cody Hawk, and Cody called me over and he's like, "Hey man, I think your buddy's nervous." And looked over at you, and you were like sitting there, like jittering, like you looked like you were going through withdrawals, man. You were like, like, dude, everything's gonna be all right. You're wrestling Cody Hawk, man. But
So at the beginning of the show when we talked about that Christian Federation, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Other than the one Fed I won't mention, that was the only other wrestling show in Indiana I worked. And none, and I mean, you got, like I said, it's night and day. I didn't know anything over here in Indiana wrestling.
Right.
So whenever I thought these guys knew what they were doing and they didn't. So I didn't know until I got on your show. And then you had all these guys. You had, Cody Hawk, Apollo Star. I think you had, did you have TJ on that show?
No,
you
TJ
had,
wasn't on that show. Isaiah came down.
yeah. Isaiah. That was one of the other big names I forgot to
Yeah.
mention. Yeah, he was on that show. So you had a lot of names. I knew who they were. I knew who Cody Hawk was
Of
the
course,
second
yeah.
week.
Yeah.
My trainer was trained by guys that he ran with or was trained by or something. I don't know how that story goes. So
Right.
like I've heard the name and then I've heard the name. I'm on a YouTube and look. I'm like, oh, this dude's good. And then
Right.
you're like, yeah, that's your first match in my tournament. I'm over there, kind of crapping myself like this dude's really good. He's been on Ring of
Right.
Honor, been there, trained this guy, trained that guy, and he's got this slump dude, coming in from this pear-shaped guy coming in from Ohio,
Yeah.
about the wrestlers, So yeah, I was nervous, man. I was at first, but then I ended up. I think that first outing, I had a really good match with Cody, minus the little setback we had at the end, and then me and Donnie Idol's match in the second round of that tournament.
Good. Yeah.
Phenomenal, such a good match, man.
Yeah.
It
And
actually led me
honestly,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say by the time you got to the finals and it was you and Apollo, like the crowd was so hot, like everything was perfect, man. Like
Yeah,
it all
it was
went
good.
exactly how I saw it going. So
It's crazy to think that I'm still after being that was the first time I ever wrestled Apollo. Like every time I've wrestled Apollo, it's gotten better, and we've
yeah,
had a lot of matches.
yeah,
And then the fact that I get to wrestle his son is amazing, dude. Like
yeah.
Cassius is such a good talent, so great. He's only going to get better. And Apollo, I mean, man, the dude's been doing this for years, and he's still like he's aging like fine wine, baby.
I know.
He's still great. Like
I know.
I would. You couldn't tell, like, if he was hurt or if he was whatever by how smooth he is. You would never know.
Right.
You would he's so goddamn smooth in the ring. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Well, man, I don't know if you. I know you didn't have it. I don't think you had a chance to watch it, but on the last show that I did, which we didn't know was going to be the last one, but it ended up being the last one. Apollo wrestled Mitchell Taylor, and put together, that's over 40 years of experience, man. And watching the two of them in there, man, that match, Deontay Davis was sitting there at the curtain, just, man, studying it, And then when they came back, he was like, I had to watch you two. Like, it was just, everything was so good. Like, he was like, I was learning while I was watching it. And that's when wrestling is great, man. Like, you get two guys, and it doesn't have to be two guys with 40 combined years of experience. Just two guys who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Or somebody who knows how to lead somebody and put the stuff that they can do in the right places.
Yeah.
It's not good when it's two people just out there blowing their load.
It's like people on there like, oh, I got gas for days. Yeah, but why not conserve that gas? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not use just a little bit of it? Why do you got to go from full to E within 15 minutes? You don't need to do that. Tell a story. It doesn't make sense to do. Super kick, they spin around. There's a German, they roll through. There's another super kick. They go to the outside. There's a rolling back in. Then you do a springboard clothesline. And then you go to hit him with a brainbuster. Right after that, 1-2, they kick out. And then you pick them up, and then they hit you with a fucking European uppercut. 1-2-3. What the hell?
Yeah. What is that?
You just hit them with 7 freaking finishes, and they kicked out at 2, but they hit you with a European uppercut, and you're done. Makes no sense. And that's not anything specific that I've seen. It's just kind of like, man, like
That sounds like a match, though, man. Honestly, like,
Yeah, dude, that's the majority of I that's the majority of a lot of the indie matches nowadays, man. It's just
yeah,
it's a lot of that shit, man, and
yeah,
it's not fun to watch for me. I'm not that kind of a wrestling fan.
yeah, for sure. I feel you, dude. So I'm saying, man, we're probably gonna wrap up in a minute. I
Man,
did
we
want
really
to talk.
didn't ask me many questions, man. We just been yapping about
We're
shit.
just talking about. I mean, this is the thing about this podcast too, though. I like people to tell stories. I like the freaking so. So the basic thing is, you talk about how you start, you talk about kind of the middle, and then we're getting to
Mhm.
the end. And in
Okay.
between, it's just whatever we want to talk about. So, and it seems like it's working. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Seems like
no,
it's
that's
working.
good. That's probably the easiest one I've done. Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all kind of easy. Like, but it's like the majority of them is asking me questions about wrestling. We're just kind of shooting the stuff, and we're talking
Yeah,
about
dude.
wrestling, but we're not.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather
Yeah.
do that than like, a 20 questions type of thing. That's just not. I don't think that's entertaining. You make every podcast the same.
No, because
So,
I've already done that. I've done it on two other
yeah.
podcasts. Why do I need? I mean, not the ones I mentioned, but I've done a lot of podcasts. Like, why do I want to keep doing the same thing on every podcast I do?
Right, right, right. Yeah, dude,
It's
I
not
know
worth
I know you haven't listened to my shit, but if you did want to go back and listen to it, um it's kind of the same format, but every podcast is different because I let the guests
Yeah.
I let them
No,
talk.
dude.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, like with everything I got going on, I ain't really had time to really do a whole lot of anything. But
Yeah. I was just
you know
messing
what I
with
mean?
you anyway. It's
Like
all
you're
good.
good. I've been meaning to be honest with you. Like I
Yeah.
was telling her, like, I probably need to look into some stuff, and I haven't, dude. Like
Yeah.
I just
Dude, I'm
I
saying,
don't.
man, our highest listener count is like 800. Like we've got a podcast that has almost 800 listeners, almost 800 people tuned into it. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
pretty dope. Pretty dope. But
Oh yeah.
no, I know before we came on, you were talking about this tag that you're doing with Sage Phillips now. So I wanted to see like what you had going on right now as far as that. Like you got any belts floating around where you're working?
I was just previously the Summit Pro champion, based out of Greenfield, Indiana. For those who don't know, what that is, it's a wrestling organization ran out of um, Greenfield, Indiana. It's got talents such as Sean Kemp, Sage Phillips, Dylan Cole, Cavron Kenyon, a
Mm.
bunch of cats, man. Alice Crowley, Chase Holiday. There's a lot of guys that work out of there. A lot
The
of
Sins still out there?
who?
The Sins?
Holy crap! Yes, Tyler Lytle, Mean Dick Michaels, bunch of assholes. Yeah, they're still out there. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Those are my people. But yeah, man. There's a bunch of people out there working out there. But I was just recently their champion. I just had lost it. The show in December against Chase Holiday. He cashed in what they called a Mountaineer piece. You
Okay.
collect three pieces, and it's kind of almost kind of like the Money in the Bank style. You cash it
Yeah.
in on a championship of your choice whenever, as long as you have all three pieces. He did that to me, and I beat him fair and square after he did. And then Zane, Punk ass
Paisley?
Presley had to
Crazy. Yeah.
tell me that he runs the company now, and that now he's reversing the decision. And Chase decided to put a fist pack in his hand and blindside me with a backhand. So yeah, knocked me stupid. So now I'm not
That,
championing, but all is well because now Sage Phillips and I are now freed up, or now I am freed up to tag with a guy that I consider a great adversary, and a great friend. Probably one of my best friends in the business, if not outside the business. But great dude. Just don't get on his bad side because
hmm.
he'll stretch you from asshole to appetite. Um, but yeah, man. We just decided one day. We wrestled all over Indiana, dude. Like, we beat the hell out of each other all over Indiana. We were having street fights, I quit matches, false count anywhere matches, this and that. We were just beating the piss out of each other, man. And we just kind of looked at each other one day as like, why not just join forces? Why not just tag? Why not just do something? And you know, we were, yeah, let's do it. And, you know, we formed the Matt Daddies. So,
Nice.
yeah, so we're looking as of right now to fill 2015 or I said 15. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. 2020. No, we're not backtracking 10 years here. The 2025 calendar, we're looking to fill that up with. So if anybody's listening, any promoters, not Outlaw Mud Show promoters, Ian Rotten, talking about you. No, I'm kidding. He's no longer around. So, but if anybody's listening, you know, by all means, feel free to contact me at diehappy86@gmail.com, and we'll get those availabilities out to you. But yeah, man, we're looking to win some gold. You know, we got Summit Pro coming back up next month. We're looking to shoot for some gold then. We got Wrestle Arts in February coming up. We're looking to shoot for some gold then as well. And you just never know where else you might see us end up. You know, we're looking for gold. We're the Matt Daddies. We're here to make everybody our bitch. Because who's your daddy, baby?
All right, brother. So, very last question.
Okay.
All right, man. So I know you. We've had
Okay.
personal talks. You know what I mean, on a personal level.
Good God,
And I
me
know
and
that.
you send, sorry, but like me and you send like 7 to 8 minute voice messages on Messenger almost constantly every day. Why don't we just call each other? You know what
I
I
don't
mean?
know, dude. I mean, honestly, because okay, so like with the messages, I can do shit. You know what I mean? Like I can still be doing stuff, and I'll just pop something off. Blah 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 blah. But
Yeah.
if I'm on the phone, I will sit and concentrate on being on the phone. That's part of the reason why I don't use the phone as much as I used to. Because I'm the kind of person where like when I get on the phone, that's all I'm doing. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if you're like that, but that's how I am. So yeah,
Not so much anymore, but like it is easier to send voice messages whenever like if I'm cooking and I'm like, hey
right, right,
Keith, you know, I'm gonna bitch about this person, or we're gonna vent about something's going on, or you
right,
know,
right.
stupid exes.
But obviously we can sit here and talk for over an hour. You know,
Yeah,
freaking yeah,
obviously, you probably got 12 questions you ain't even asked me yet.
yeah. Well, dude, honestly, man, the podcast usually consists of like I was saying, three or four questions and then conversation. But
Yeah,
all right, so yeah, but this is the big question that everybody gets asked. So I was just gonna bring our personal relationship into it because you have told me before in the past that you had doubts about wrestling, and there were times when you wanted to quit. You know what I mean? There were times when you were just like, I can't do this anymore for whatever the reasons were, but you didn't. You kept going. You're
yeah.
still doing it now, and you're doing this thing with Sage. You still got plans to keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so what I want to know is what is it that keeps you going? What is it that keeps you wrestling, keeps you going out there in front of the crowds, keeps you doing this?
I know a lot of people will say that if your mental health gets bad, professional wrestling people, not just regular people, because we are not regular people. um, People will say if your mental health gets bad and you're stressing about this kind of stuff, that you should walk away, take a break for a while. It'll always be here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not wrong. Okay. Anybody, and this is just my personal opinion. Nobody else's. Okay. So like, I mean, maybe it is, I don't know, but this is the way I feel. It will always be here for you, but your spot won't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're on, if you're on top, or if you're getting a push, and these people are biting into you and they're loving you and they're enjoying what you're doing, you take that away from them, and then you come back, they're not going to feel the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to say that, you know, my mental health is messed up. Everybody's mental, especially men's mental health. Nobody really ever looks out for us men when it comes to that, because we're
Yeah.
supposed to be the strong species, right? We're supposed to be that, but we need as much help as the next. So, and in pro wrestling, you deal with a lot. You know, you kind of learn. I guess not to quote Vince McMahon, but I'm going to quote him. You know, and he goes from a business aspect, but I'm going to say from a pro wrestling aspect, you eat shit and learn to like the taste of it. You kind of have to. You got these fans out here telling you suck. Okay, that's a part of your gimmick, but also at the same time, some of the stuff they say to you, certain people, it could really mess with them a little bit. Like if you know, if you're a little out of shape, they're gonna say, you know, you look like, you know, plump something or whatever, and it's gonna upset. It's not gonna upset you at the time, but you're gonna get back, you know, in your car and ride home. You're like, man, this 12-year-old kid just called me a walrus, dude. And, man, am I really that fat? You know what I mean? Like it's like stuff like that'll get. So to answer your question, when people go on and they're like, you know, about the mental health thing, if I didn't, there has been times where, and I know we talked a couple of days ago, I think it was about me telling you about my jealousy kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Being,
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it happens sometimes. You know, I didn't want to talk about a list, but now we're going to talk about a list. When you get,
All right.
no, it's okay, but but I'm going to keep it brief. When you feel like you're out here and you're busting your ass to be the best version of yourself, to try to put on the best matches, you got fans telling you your matches are amazing. You have guys that have been in the business 20, 30 years coming up to you and telling you that your matches are amazing. You know, and then people that get on here and want to make these lists, and it's not all people, okay? But people that don't really know a whole lot of what it takes to do this, and they want to get on here and they want to talk about, you know, you're not high on my list. Well, the guy you got on there has only wrestled 3 matches for the year. He's your number one guy for the year. He's put on 3 matches. You're telling me those 3 matches that he wrestled were better than the 50 matches I wrestled in an 8-month period or something like that? Like it does eat at you, and people tell you not to take this list stuff personal, and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But at the same time, it does feel like a blow to you. So really what gets me going is to prove people wrong. All my life, I've been told I wasn't going to be anything. All my life, I was told that you're just a screw up street rat. You're not going to be anything. You know, I mean, hell, I had my first, you know, trial by the time I was 15 years old, bro. Like I was, you know, breaking and entering shit. Like I got a criminal, like before I was 18, my criminal record's like probably like a half a mile long. Like, and that's no bull crap. Y'all can look it up if y'all want. You know,
Wade Castle.
No, yes, Wade Castle. Look up Wade Castle. That son of a goon. But yeah, man. So like when you get people telling you that your whole life that you're not going to mount anything, you're going to be a criminal, and you find something that you were really good at, I think you got to hold on to it. And I think that I need somebody like you and my wife and other people when I talk to them and tell them, man, I'm just not very good at this, or I don't think I can move on, or I don't think I can do it. To people to tell me, you know, no, man, you're worth it. You're good. You're good enough. You got this. You know, and just recently, man, like I was talking to Sage, and you know, I was just telling him like how over it I was. Like I'm having fun with him, like wrestling him. This is before we start tagging, and that's when I think the idea for the Matt Daddies came up. So in a sense, the Matt Daddy tag team has kind of saved my career because honestly, probably back in June or maybe July, I think even I was gonna hang it up, dude. I was gonna wait to the end of the year, and then I was just gonna be like, you know what? I'm just gonna slowly go away. But now that I feel like I feel like I have something here, I think that I think that I think that we got something. I think that me and Sage and I think we have something in this tag team. I think that we are going to exceed expectations of what we can do as a tag team. And we're both technical wizards in the ring, man. You know, we're both mission, you know, wrestlers. So I think that if you combine that into a tag team, and it gets the best out of us. And same with him too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's been down and out and over stuff. And then since we got this, I think we've been getting a little bit of oohs and some ahs and some reactions and stuff that we've been wanting to get. And I think this is a good thing, and I think that this is going to keep me going for a little bit longer. And this, as an athlete, man, your body's not going to last forever. I mean, as a human, our bodies are not going to last forever. But as an
Right.
athlete, it cuts it down half. Because you put your body through so much damage, man. So, I mean, February 15th is my 10 year in the wrestling business. I'm going to push to 15, I think.
Okay.
And obviously by that time I'll be probably 43.
Yeah.
44 maybe. So I'll probably around that time I'll be like, okay, yeah, I think maybe I'm done. So I think I got a little bit more gas in the tank. I just need, it's just like anybody else, man. Your mental health gets to you. You need a little bit of that motivation. You need a little bit of that pick me up. And I think that I've surrounded myself with people that believe in me more than I believe in myself. And that's why I keep going.
Hell yeah. Right on, man.
Especially because I'm telling you right now, if I stop wrestling, I'm gonna drive her nuts. So she's like,
Right.
go to damn shows, hit somebody, get your aggression out, and then come back home and you'll be fine.
Nice. Oh man. All right. Well, Jordan, thanks, man.
Dude, thank you,
It's
man.
been a good time, dude.
Yeah,
So,
it's been fun.
yeah, for sure. I want to thank Tyler Martin, my producer, for he's gonna have some editing to do on this one because some shit happened. But
Yeah, dude. Hey, no, man, it's the extended cut. It's the extended
yeah, we'll just
cut.
leave it all in. Screw it.
Just leave it in, man. Just leave it
Yeah,
in.
right on. I want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. Jordan, thank you again, man.
Thank you, brother.
And everybody, make sure that you tune in next week for more Most Excellent Entertainment.